And tell me, what race are you running in, and why are you running in this race?
I'm running for Congressional District 21 in the Republican primary because I really believe that we need a new way, a different way, because so many people are either on the far left or the far right, and I don't even like to call it right and left because it's not right and left. I don't know what it is. It's driving me crazy. But I started talking to hundreds of people. And when I talk to them in person, I can talk to you for an hour and I won't know if you're Republican or Democrat. I really won't, because we all want so much the same things. And because of that, we're kind of stuck as a country. And that's why I'm running, to tell people there is another way. There's a centrist way. And it's not about a football game where Democrats win or Republicans win. It's about the future of our country for our children and our families. And I decided to just do it.
Okay. Can you talk about your top 3 initiatives as you move forward in your campaign and if you're elected?
Yes. My top initiative that I feel really, really passionate about is immigration. Because when I talk to Texans, they tell me, we need the people here who want to work hard. We need the people here who pay taxes, whether they've come here legally or illegally. We need the workers. When they are honest and they work hard and they stay out of trouble with the law, they should have a path to legalization. And we need to have better laws to allow people to come in legally. Right now, if you want to come in from Mexico to get a job, like just come in on your own, it'll take you 20 years. And I've talked to a lot of, I'll tell you, 80 or 90% of Republicans agree with me. And very often, I'll go to a Republican event and somebody will follow me out and say, you know what, you're right. I'm a small business and I need them. And I don't think it's right that ICE trucks come in and sit at convenience stores at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon to arrest people who just come in a construction truck and look Hispanic. I just think it's wrong. And I'm running as a Republican because most Republicans agree with me.
And 2 others.
I've got one more for that. And that is, Democrats agree. I have never met a single person who did not agree that the worst of the worst, as Trump calls them, that criminals should be allowed to remain in the country. That if you're a murderer, a rapist, or a drug cartel member, you shouldn't be here. Everybody agrees with that. And the problem is that's not how it's being implemented. And I see people every single day being discriminated against American citizens just because they look Hispanic. Secondly, it's the economy and our giant federal debt and deficit. I don't want to pay more taxes. I don't. But you know what? I also feel like we are saddling our children and our grandchildren with a huge amount of debt. Right now, our federal debt is almost $40 trillion. And every year, under the current administration and prior administrations, it's increasing by almost $2 trillion a year. And our children and grandchildren are going to have to pay for that. And one thing I thought of is the defense budget, because that's a huge percentage of it. And there are a lot of efficiencies that can occur. And Europe needed to pay more of their defense bill, but they're paying it. So why don't we get the benefit of the savings from that? We're not. Okay, number 3, IRS. I am a small business owner. I have owned small businesses my whole life and had employees. And I know how hard it is to start a small business and pay your employees. And one of the biggest problems with starting a small business is when you start hiring employees, you have to pay Social Security and so forth, which is good. You need to pay that. But you know what? The filing requirements are nuts. And the IRS is so incredibly unhelpful. If I ran my business the way the government runs the IRS, I would be out of business in a second. The IRS, we had an example at my business. We file our 941 form quarterly, on time for years and years and years. My bookkeeper forgot to file it one time. We had totally paid all our taxes electronically. We got a notice, we filed it, then suddenly they say, oh, you say you're owed this much money, well, you haven't paid it. My accountant goes, yes, we have. Here are all of the forms where we paid it. And she had to call 3 times, and I started getting notifications that they were going to take our bank account because they couldn't get the money squared with the form. And it's not right for small businesses to have to deal with that. The IRS needs to do better customer service. And my thing is, answer the phone in 10 minutes. If you don't answer the phone in 10 minutes, you're not doing your job. Now it takes an hour to 2 hours before you ever get through to an IRS person. So I think the IRS needs to be reformed.
Okay. How do you get voters to see your campaign when there are so many people in this race, including one with the Trump backing and a Abbott backing?
And you don't. That's the truth of it. I'm using social media. I am a small business owner. Don't have a lot of money, and I'm putting up signs, and I have a friend of mine doing social media for me, and that's it. And the guy with Trump's backing is probably going to win. And I told the other candidates, I said, yeah, of course he is. He's got Trump's backing because he's a celebrity. So.
Do you feel like that is something that how you're using social media is going to get out people to vote for you? Do you feel that way?
I hope so. I don't know. Most of the people that I talk to in person, I think will go vote. My thing is, I don't know how many people are looking at social media. And I want to make the point, you need to vote in the primary. Just put that on over and over and over again. Because of gerrymandering, if you don't vote in the primary, you really aren't going to have a say in your government. Because the Republican's going to win this election for my congressional district. And if you don't get out and vote in the primary, you're not going to have a say because the Democrat's not going to win.
Can you talk to the aspect of people who don't understand why it's so important to vote and therefore don't want to look into this many campaigns?
That's a really hard question too, because I haven't voted yet. And because there's so many down ballot races that it's hard to understand the issues. And I really appreciate you doing this because maybe we'll get some of the message out to people about who the different candidates are. And please, I just want to encourage people, vote in the primary. I want to say vote in the Republican primary. That's where I'm running. And the next senator, governor, attorney general are going to be Republicans. I believe that. And if you don't get out and vote in the primary, you're not going to have a say in that.
Anything else you want to add about your campaign?
Only this, that I don't want to talk about Trump's endorsement. Trump is not running in this election. And I'll tell you, most of the other candidates all were just desperate to get his endorsement. I'm running a different way. I'm running a way that I think people want. To tell the truth, we don't want to deport every person that's here. There are several candidates who've spoken up and said, we want to deport every person who's here illegally. We don't want that. We want a different way. And people need to vote in the primary and find out who those candidates are who believe that.
Anything else you want to add?
I want to listen. Because that's how we learn. And if our only way of getting anything done is to shut the government down, our government has messed up. Because I believe in compromise, I believe in negotiation, and I believe in finding a way that everybody works together to make our government work again. And that's what I want to say. And that's my message.